it's yet another moment we are meeting here to discuss matters politics in this country. This show is a show that actually brings you so much that happens in the political grapevine, and we discuss these things the way they are. Our point here is normally to want to unravel what politics is. And as we unravel this, we try to give angles, understanding, and even analysis where possible for you and I to understand. That's why we normally have panelists, we have pundits, we have people with a lot of know-how and exposure in matters politics to take us through these sessions. As usual, I want to welcome you into this show. I'm your host, Nick Okello. Feel at home, feel welcome. This is the moment that we want to talk about it today. And this time, it's about politics of coalitions, political party coalitions during and after and even pre-elections. What do they portend? Right now, we are having two big formations that are actually not only parties, but they are coalition of parties. Some are even coalitions of coalitions. I mean, it's a strange thing in Kenya, where you have a coalition doing another coalition with another coalition, and it becomes a super coalition, and then before you even think about it, it's a hegemony of sorts. And that's what it is. Now we want to look at just what does it portend for the two leading presidential candidates. Azimio la Umoja is now has now more than 15 political parties and groupings that support it. We also have Kenya Kwanza with more than 3, 4, 5 parties that actually supporting it. Now, the leading presidential candidates have serious headache. Should they, whoever wins the election, must really portend with the serious load and stresses of appeasing all these people. They must be brought on board. They must feel their belonging, and this will be the test where the rubber will meet the road. Now, it's all merry. After the elections, what happens? That is why I have them here to discuss. On my very left is a familiar face now in this show, but I'll just give him the benefit of introducing himself, and then we do the same on my right.
Thank you, Nick. I'm Abura Brahman. I'm contesting for a senatorial position in Nairobi County on a Kano ticket, and that's Azimio ticket.
You see, already we are even getting it right here. He's contesting on a Kano ticket, and again under Azimio. It is these definitions that we will be grappling with towards 2022 general elections. Yes, on my right.
Well, thanks so much, Nick, for allowing me to be part of this panel. My name is Kenyanito Dudi, Governance Policy Advocacy Expert.
Thank you, Kenyanito Dudi. Thank you. Last time we had you here, it was so juicy. At least we got to, slice matters into very fine pieces to understand exactly what it brings in governance. And that is why we will talk about what it would be for whoever is going to win these elections. If it's Raila, how would it impact on his governance structures and his policies, having all these parties together? If it's Ruto, again, how would it be? That's what we are going to discuss today. I want to bring in senatorial aspirant Abdulrahman Abur into this show. Your party has just made into the one of the big parties, or rather the other parties that make the bigger formation called Azimio, Oka, something like that.
Yes.
Last time you were here, you emphasized and you said you guys would be in it.
Yeah. You can confirm you're in it.
Yeah. You're already in it.
You're in it.
Yeah. So now that you are in it as a party, what do you expect going forward before and after the elections?
What I know is a big coalition, and as a big coalition, there's so many people there, even interest, and in politics, it's a matter of interest. So for sure, then now our candidate, that is Raila Odinga, has a lot to do on how to bring the parties together. So we expect to be given fair share as KANU, and also when we form this government, we believe we're going to form the government. That's surety.
You can't be so sure. You're competing and you never know. Maybe Kenya Kwanza would beat you at the ballot and they form the next government and they rush to the opposition.
That's my feeling.
Yeah, that's your
So
feeling.
as we win this election, we expect to form the government. So in the formation of the government, we expect to be given our share as Cardinal, as we are going to also contribute in bringing the votes for the State House.
So you want to bank on your votes for Raila,
Yes.
for your bargaining into the governance.
Yes.
Kenyanito, it's a strange thing. World over, coalitions are formed after or during, after or before elections. That's pre and post election time. And they inform particular standards of interests, just like he said. What exactly is it that makes parties coalesce together? And are we seeing that in our present situation in Kenya?
The first facet of your question, what is it that makes parties to coalesce together? The answer is simple: to get power and to rule. And in our situation, it can be a bit different, but not so different, in the sense that we are having around 5 months and 2 weeks to the general polls. And our Political Parties Act of 2022, there's a line drawn that 120 days to the election, the general election, parties are meant to have formed and signed a coalition. So working with the 9th of August, coming backwards, that means up to April 9th should the deadline, where all shall have penned.
It's April 9th, not May 9th, April 9th.
120 days is 4 months.
4 months for coalition.
For coalition building. And that's why you see these razzmatazz, this movement here and there, trying to at least coalesce. And it's interesting to know that Senator to-be Kanu joined, and we love it that way. And they say that they're going to form government, which is okay. As you go into a hunting spree, you must leave people back at home telling them that, look, prepare something because I'll bring an antelope. So as they get into this, there is going to be a bit of looking at what one brings on the table before they're given a portion. That's why you see these two main formations having a lot of stakes. That is Azimio la Umoja, which is going to be baptized again, Azimio la Umoja Oka, or Azimio Oka, whatever name.
Azimio Oka Coalition.
Azimio Oka Coalition and Kenya Kwanza. I don't think right now if there's going to be a third force per se, and that's why even Oka.
It's now dead now.
I mean, even if you had to come with it, it will be just, yes, you're enrolling for a race, but the outcome is clear. It's a 2-horse race.
It's now a 2-horse race.
Yes.
Officially.
Oh no, it's going to be a 2-horse race, and that's why other parties like smaller ones, some might run for the sake of running to make a name. Abdu Adida did it at the time. Sorry, I'm not undermining him. And we also had others in the past.
Yeah.
But the race precisely the race is between 2 horses. And so as they work towards their coalitions before, the end game will be interesting after the polls. As that now people will be signing papers, and we are not new to this. The other week you saw Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka unleashing a pact which was signed between the two of them.
Two individuals. Actually, it's
and
so funny.
with a clear disclaimer that one was not to release it to the masses unless otherwise. Then one realized that things are so good, then he unleashed it to the public. And then, so we are bound to see this, but the beauty this time around, the public, the electorates are getting exposed to a bit of the contents of this, which has not been there in the past.
Well, sometimes it gets so confusing as things are right now. It's good for the country that we now have two sides to choose from, which is not so bad. But again, choosing from these two sides is also very tricky. Now, aspiring senator, looking at the fabric of Azimio la Umoja Oka, where is Raila going to find a running mate? What will inform Raila's pick of a running mate? Is Kanu trying to impress for a running mate's position? What is it that Kanu wants in this?
Okay, basically what Kanu wants is a win for Raila Odinga. And a win for Raila Odinga will be a win for the whole nation. So as we are not putting demand that we want something specifically.
Meaning you don't have any interest in this?
No, we have interest, but the bigger interest is for the country. We want peace for this nation, and the only peace we can see and good leadership can only come from Raila Odinga. So our first interest is the peace of the nation, stability of the nation. So ours is third. So politically.
So if you guys, you put
country first.
The country first,
yes,
and then your interest follow.
Follow, meaning in leadership, we might even lead after Raila, but it means that good governance. If you elect somebody, a leader who can give good governance to the country, it gives you also hope as a party that we are in the safe hand. So we go for the safe hand. Safety of this nation belongs to Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga will give the stability of the nation.
You've spoken about peace and the continuity, and I think it also it resonates with the kind of philosophy of peace, love, and unity.
Thank you.
So putting this together, and it's so interesting that you guys are putting peace, love, and unity ahead of everything, and that is what Azimio la Umoja has been propping up for most of this time. Now, you came in under Oka, and at this end, Oka seems to have bargained for what it is for Oka.
Yes.
Do you think when Raila now does for Azimio side, he will also be compelled to do something for Oka side? I mean, I just don't know. How is this?
You see, thank you for that question. You remember, we have bargained so hard to the extent one of our principals unleashed an agreement.
That was signed 5 years ago.
Yes.
Secretly somewhere. Actually, it's defunct. It's not even, it doesn't make sense this time round.
The whole idea, which people don't understand, is that Honorable Kalonzo was telling the Kenyans that I've been sacrificing for the stability of this nation to this extent. In 2017, I did this. In 2013, I did this. In 2007, I did this.
Again, now
I'm doing it. So in politics, when you're doing something in good faith, it's good for the other parties also to feel that you have been doing in good faith, I do for you also in good faith. Only that maybe it was too late to put his bargain on the table, because right now Raila has taken the momentum. So the idea was I'm sacrificing, and if I sacrifice again, maybe next time now see me as the next next hope of this country. So it means that for Oka, we are very sure that we are going to propel Raila to State House, and after Raila, probability is very high that we will take over the nation.
So that is this interest you're talking about. Later after Raila, perhaps you guys are angling for something.
There's something you mentioned there, if you allow me to. You asked that is Oka going to get a stake in this Azimio Oka? And I think it was a bit cagey, basically that. As Kanu, he says that they're driving on the peace, love, and unity philosophy, which is a plus, thank you. And now as Oka, because the delay has been caused by the Oka coalition insisting that they must go as a group, not as individual parties. But again, if you read our laws, that they should, it's going to be a bit tricky, because there should not be two coalitions. There should be one coalition, and that's why this one will be merged, and there will be a grand coalition.
Of course, but what has been unveiled is Azimio Oka coalition.
Yes.
So so it means Azimio la Umoja dies somewhere.
Well,
and,
now
and Azimio coalition now picks.
So
that's what will be the episode with the register of political parties.
Correct. So that's where now when they go under that, now Oka had already done their own. Actually, it's a deed. They signed a deed.
Yeah.
And then that means there will be a lot of discussions. Give and take will be there to know what is it that this arm or this segment is bringing to us on the table. Then it's going to be a bit interesting again as we peel the layers of that onion for us to get to the crystal thing. The fundamental thing is that they've got their flag bearer. Now, where there's going to be running mate, that is going to be another discussion for the next 2 weeks or so. Because as it is, Azimio Lao Moja had already set themselves to the structures and systems. Then Oka are also coming with a demand. And remember, they are coming in as equal partners. And then equality again.
Is there anything equal in it? I mean, is it equal in sentiments, or is it equal in perception, or is it equal in strength?
Abul can tell us that, but from where I sit, there is one arm of the coalition who has been traversing, going around the country for the last like 3-4 years plus. There's a one arm that Johnny came late, and then they're coming to the negotiating table with equal terms. And that's where it's better you get some slices of the cake than wait for the stuff. So they want to be, from my view, they want to be part of the negotiating table and see, know, understand how the cake is being baked instead of being on the menu, which is a plus. And I think
okay. Yeah, I mean, he says from his observation that you guys were seated somewhere where the cake was being baked, and you didn't even bring firewood for the fire. Now, a time has come, you want to enjoy into the cake, and this time you come also grandstanding that you are equal partners in this. Is this an honest entry into a negotiation?
Okay, I think my colleague would like to correct that. When you say we are equal partners, we are equal partners in the sense that that's the same way he said that our interest is for the country first. Traversing the country can even take us 2 days or 3 days to be popular the way Azimio is popular.
How?
Because we have leaders, and our leaders are not new in the game. They are on timers in the game.
But Senator, just a minute. I'm not taking your time. I'm only reminding you that even Oka has been doing rounds. Even before Mudavadi and Wetangula left, Oka used to go out. I even remember the by-elections in Western somewhere, in Matungu. They went there as Oka. And actually, Oka was born before Azimio.
correct.
In real terms, Oka should have been much way ahead of Azimio in terms of popularity. Now, if you say they will be doing like 2 days or 1 week and become popular, that's not being honest.
I'm honest because in forming a coalition has up and downs, okay? And that's why even Azimio right now, the leader, Raila Amolo Odinga, is bringing leaders together by just talking to them, not forcing them. Okay, it's a matter of embracing leaders who are like-minded, who can come together for the betterment of the country. So in this case, when I say that we are equal partners, it means that we don't have it doesn't mean that we don't have the capacity to go around the country. We have the capacity and everything willingness to go around the country, but we don't want to bring confusion. Okay. And that's why we don't want to bring confusion that Oka is again going to compete against Azimio. So being equal partners means that we have the same capacity to go around the country and
the same capacity somewhere is again it's theoretical. That is just being too good with words. But we know capacities vary. That's a fact. And the beauty is that there are some compromises which have been made for the sake of the country. And I think for that big up to Oka. And number two, Ali, you had mentioned that Kalonzo is trying to prepare himself ahead of post-Raila succession, which can project him to be again a Mandela and the like, which again is a plus. But as at now, things are a bit advanced. you can't go popularizing the whatever within 2 days. I mean, Kenya is so big. But the truth of the matter, yes, as Nika said, that they began the race, or they were born earlier, then at some point there was some kind of stunted growth. And then someone was born thereafter and overtook them. But listen, I ran through that. So there will be some kind of growth. And
yeah, it's an interesting time. I want us to shift a bit and look at Kenya Kwanza. William Ruto doesn't seem to be having such a big headache like it's in Azimio la Umoja. I think as the principal person in Kenya Kwanza, all he has to look at is Moses Wetangula and Mudavadi. Now, how does this one play out? Is Ruto condemned to get a deputy from Mount Kenya region, or is also at liberty? And politically speaking, can he pick either Wetangula or Musalia as a running mate, or is right now condemned to just find a DP from Mount Kenya? Talking about political arithmetic.
From the political topography, many things have changed for Ruto. I don't see Ruto taking running mate from Central. My bet Ruto is going to stick with Mudavadi as his running mate.
Why?
Because in Central has changed. The wave has really changed, according to me.
No, Ruto is the most popular candidate in Central Kenya. By opinion polls that are being splashed every now and then,
it still commands.
Yeah, it still commands the majority of that region, and nothing so okay. It's changed, yes, but not significantly to a point that he's losing his popularity by less than 50%.
If we remember the way Ruto started, and you look at the point when Baba was saying, "Baba climb Mount Kenya," if you recall, Baba was to climb Mount Kenya. Ruto was already in Mount Kenya. Okay.
At the top, actually.
At the top. So Baba was to climb and meet Ruto at the top. What happened? Right now, Baba is at the top. Ruto is somewhere. I can't say it's somewhere.
It's sliding on the ice.
So in politics, when you're up there, and even he said even that in Christianity they say you rather be behind to be called in front. Not to be called in front. So right now, what's happened to Ruto? Ruto is being brought down from Central. So arithmetically, if he's being brought down in Central, getting a running mate from Central will be a headache to him, because not sure. He doesn't come at that block now. That's according to me.
Yeah. Wayne. Yes. Again, it's a complex math. Going by the words of Brigadier Shagwa, a fortnight ago during a morning show on Citizen, he spilled the beans and said, look, they are not practicing politics of ukora and the like. I can't remember the exact words that he used, of conmanship and stuff. And he mentioned that whilst Mudavadi was coming, it was made clear as day and night that, look, you're coming to be part of the what? Flower girls in this wedding. There's a bride and there's a groom. And that really shocked them. That really shocked them until, while it was in the States, you say, his commission team had to what? Release what? Pressure to do that. And Gadi Gachagua was told to come down. The assumption then, as Kenya Kwanza was being formed, remember again, Kenya Kwanza was a creation of Sakaja and the like, ANC to go and register that. Yeah. And then again, UDA, that forms 70+% of Kenya Kwanza, will not allow unless something happens. Because the thinking then was that if Mudavadi was brought, as they have been saying that you buy one, get one free, I don't get that direction, and that they are going to add some following, they're going to command some following in Western Nyanza, Western Kenya. Yeah. But based on the present political climate, that has not taken up. And that's why it's going to be, Ruto is actually down if we pick some running mate from Western. and is also damned if he picks from Central.
So Rurist is between a hard place.
It's more between a rock and a hard surface than Raila and Azimio. Why? One, Central is his second largest base. Because the entire Rift Valley, if you look at that and the stuff, you'll see it's getting azumated every day. Talk of the northern part, so it's only the Kalenjin in the Rift Valley. And then if you have to dissect those counties, Trans Nzoia is gone and the like is azumated. And you look back at northern, the nomads are leaning towards Azimio.
Yeah.
And that's why it's broad base, apart from Kalenjin nation within Rift Valley, is central Kenya. And so that's why, going by these permutations and demographics and trends, he is likely to pick up a running mate from Central because of the returns. And if he does that, he will also lose Central. I mean Western. So it's in a more precarious position.
Yes. It's a political chess game. Call it what it is, but it needs to somebody who is a chess master, because then a lot of things are moving. There's so much tectonic movement of political plates that is happening right now in this country. And the biggest elephant in the room right now for the coalition leaders is to pick a running mate. That we'll discuss at a later time. However, we're still trying to dissect just what is there for Ruto, what remains. Senator incoming, aspiring senator says, he has to pick from Western. The expert governance says no, if he picks, he's damned. And it's even becoming juicy, and that's why it's the Cardinal Talk Show. We are going for a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about these matters more and more again. Welcome back, viewer. If you're joining right now, we are doing the Cardinal Talk Show, and as usual, I'm having guests here. On my very right is Dudi Kenyanito, a very, very, very mouthful name, and I'm beginning to get to know it right now. And on my left, I have aspiring Robi Senator Abdurrahman Abor. Thank you very much, you guys, for coming. And we are going on, and we are looking at what it is in the mix of politics of coalition. And we are trying to even look further and look at the prospects of the leading candidates picking their running mates. And it's turning out to be really a very brain-draining affair for these guys. However, having said what it is, interests will now start playing strongly at the peak of the deputy presidents of the running mates. What factors perhaps do you think would be considered at the time or at the peak of the running mates? You talk for Azimio. I don't want you to talk for any party, but you'll talk for whatever you can make out of it. However, it's interesting. What would be the factors that would drive or would inform the pick for deputy presidents or running mates for these presidential candidates?
Okay, as I said earlier, Azimio is for the stability of the nation. It's bringing all the parties together for the sake of this nation. So the factor which is going to be considered is regional balance. Raila is coming from Western region, so you cannot pick a candidate, a running mate from Western region.
Why? But the mere fact of regional positioning, is that the only enough?
I'll just say, the word Azimio.
The word Azimio.
We are bringing parties together.
Umoja
ya nchi. So from umoja ya nchi, factors we are going to Raila is going to consider is regional balance. It's coming from Western region, Raila Odinga. So running mate cannot come from Western region. So his running mate probability is very high. Can come from Central or Lower Eastern. Okay, so it means that if you look at that scenario, it's balancing the nation. So if you get the president from Western region and the deputy from Central or from Lower Eastern, the nation is taken care of, balancing. Apart from balancing the region, we are going to look for the rich vote area, because politics is about numbers. We cannot pick a running mate which has no numbers. We must have numbers because we want to beat Wood and his team convincingly. We don't want them to be to go and to go with us to court. We don't have time for court.
Is it Kenya Kwanza or Ruda?
I don't know, but
You don't even know.
I don't even know. But
No, you should know. It's Kenya Kwanza.
It's Kenya Kwanza. Okay, thank you. Thanks for reminding me.
It's very funny. Yeah? Okay.
So it means that those are the factors we're going to consider most: the regional balance and rich area of population on votes. So probability is very high that so far the way things are running, so far so good, and Raila has no problem. Is either he has only two options here, either Central or Lower Eastern, which is a very simple arithmetic for an engineer to make.
Okay. And talking about the two regions, let's stick to the two regions that you're mentioning, the Lower Eastern region and the Central region. Who in these areas would probably be best suited to deputize Raila Odinga?
To me, that's now to me. That's a very technical question,
Yeah.
which I must be specified is me, Abdul Rahman. Lower Eastern, I think Kalonzo can be a best running mate. He has proved it.
At that time?
Raila is going for the 5th time for the presidency.
So Kalonzo has to follow him on every step.
So that tells you Kalonzo can still be the running mate.
Yeah.
Because Raila is going for a 5th stab on presidency. So running mate for Kalonzo being the 3rd time, no problem.
No problem.
No harm. Thank you. Then on the central side, if you look at the central side, to me, I think Liki and Jui can be a good running mate because he balance the central and the Rift Valley.
So he carries both sides.
Both sides, Liki and Jui. He has central background and Rift Valley background, so he can balance for us. He can bring neutrality of the votes. Yeah.
Weigh in on that. It's interesting.
Thanks. I agree with the colleague Abur that regional balance will be looked into. That's our cruise, and the vote-rich region. But the 3 M's. One, talk of the masses in choosing of our running mate or in politics. Masses here is what is the population, what is your basket vote that you're bringing on the table. That's why you cannot just pick someone from, because our democracy again is still growing, we have not reached that stage where we can bring someone from Dorobo or to be a running mate, especially in a contested election like the ours. The other aim is that for the magnetic effect, the networks. So when you are choosing, look for a running mate, which I think this work will be done for both the parties. They should be having right now their think tank that will be profiling each of the potential running mates. Then map them, rank them, and give them some assessment. Then they'll do their internal opinion polls on what X would bring to the table before we get to the other side. And then the other M is that of the money. Money plays some role in doing elections. So money, masses, magnetic effect. So because you can't be running mate and you are just being there as a flag. It was a joint ticket. So that will also play a role in doing this. And then the beat, they might also look at gender to some extent to beat that threshold. In fact, the candidate who might pick the gender and also the youthfulness of the nation can also attract some fraction of voters who might say, now, I am going to vote this pair of candidate because of the running mate. So all those will be put into play by the think tanks of both the coalitions. And I think at the end of the day, they'll submit the potential 1, 2, 3 to the running to the candidates, and then they decide. So it's gonna be a bit not a straight path journey, because again, as you see, the provisional structure of Azimio that we have seen in the grapevine.
Azimio Oka.
Azimio Oka.
But it's become so common with Azimio until Oka gets lost.
It came fast sometimes. People use first name. Yeah, you see there's a bit of a patron, the party leader, then you see that the NCC, the National Coordinating Council, then is the 4 deputies and the like. So, and the 4 deputy, but then the others. So there is going to be a lot of discussions, lobbying, and push and pull to ensure that the running mate, and the running mate each coalition will choose, will take them a step to 50% plus 1.
Okay, well said, well done. Now, that's very interesting. You've spoken about, I don't want to give you the benefit of speaking about for Kenya Kwanza because you don't belong to that. But I know if next time we had somebody from Kenya Kwanza, they will also give us their plan of what they can give. However, let's look at the structure that was just unveiled. Uhuru Kenyatta remaining as a patron. What does it mean? That's the only opaque area in the Azimio Oka coalition that is not very well defined. A patron, in any sense, is an overseer of things. It's a facilitator of sorts. I mean, what role is Uhuru playing in this thing?
No.
That is what the role he plays.
Yes.
That is magnified in terms of the TORs, terms of engagement in Azimio, versus what he would play silently, because I know he's a very big pusher of this silently somewhere. So let's forget about his networks. Let's forget about his his following, because he's a serving president. But just in the new dispensation, Uhuru is winding up a dispensation and again birthing another one called Azimio la Umoja Kenya. I mean, what is Uhuru's role in this? Can somebody really, Mheshimiwa, Uhuru is your patron.
Now,
Uhuru is your patron. What is he doing in this business? Because otherwise, we would expect Uhuru to be headed to Gatundu, just P.O. Box Gatundu, just like Kibaki was and Moi was. But he seems to be reincarnating.
Now, thank you for the question. It's very clear. I said earlier, the essence of Azimio is to bring people together and bring peace to this nation. Uhuru Kenyatta, being our president, is being by the virtue of being the patron, is still giving that fatherly outlook, unity. Is bringing unity to the nation. So by being the patron, he doesn't want anybody to be left out in this coming government. We want to bring everybody in the government. That's why they're going to be the patron. So it means that maybe there's somewhere with these politics, maybe Raila might forget something. He can remind Raila, you are not picked Kanyadudi to be there. You are not picked Nick to be here. You see,
but that you can do if he can only pick a phone and call Raila and tell him, just a minute, call Raila, pick a call Raila and tell him, please, you forgot this and this and that. Why must you be a patron?
I'm telling you, he's not a patron of managing. There are two things we have to understand in life. We have two patrons here in life. There's a daily patron who is on the daily management, and there's a patron just for fatherly figure. Okay, his patronage is not of the management. He's not of the management. He's on the fatherly figure of the nation. So you must see that he's not going to manage the government. All is not going to manage Azimio.
Why can't Uhuru just go home?
No, as much as you say it's going home, or not going home, if Uhuru right now decide to sit in Gatundu, okay, he can be the patron of Azimio. That doesn't mean he's not going home. He'll go home.
He can't go home and remain at the same place again. Now,
He'll go home.
okay, there's new guys. There's something they're not telling us here, and this is something that I had a trolley speak about this, saying Uhuru is so young.
4 years ago.
Is it some 4 years ago?
4 years, yes.
Yeah, Uhuru doesn't have to go away. Where is Uhuru going to? Uhuru is still so young.
Yeah.
Are we now seeing this one coming to pass? And if it's coming to pass, what role therefore is Uhuru Kenyatta taking as a patron of this? Maybe from your lenses, what is it that is taking up in Azimio la Umoja Oka coalition? It's not even difficult to mention. It's mouthy as it goes.
The aspirant for senatorial seat, Kano ticket, Nairobi, would have answered that bit of Atwoli because they are both members of Kano.
Atwoli is a
life member. But that notwithstanding, you asked earlier question that why must it be embedded in this? Must it be part of the structure? The provisional structure of Azimio Oka, as we saw it, is that there's a bit of patron, party leader, then NCC, and then
there's
the
the
National
patron,
Political Council.
then there's a presidential candidate.
Who's
again a party leader.
Yes,
And again, again, as you answer that, kindly also delve into the fact that Raila can't be party leader to two parties.
Yeah,
in this
but
coalition.
there is coalition.
What are we doing?
Azimio
Coalition
party. So that's where.
And we have ODM party.
Yes. So because this is a unique scenario we are in, some will have to be dissected in the coming years.
Excuse me, Kenyanito. We can't go on like that.
Yeah.
For the benefit of our viewers and because this is Cardinal Talk Show, what is Cardinal about Raila being party leader of Azimio Coalition Party?
Yeah.
As it's supposed to be deposited by
With the,
with the registered political parties. And then the same Raila at the registered political parties again is a party leader of ODM. Isn't this also a coalition? It is not even a coalition, it's a coalition of sorts of political positions.
For now, because we do not know what's going to change in the coming weeks or days. So for now we are singing ODM or Azimio Oka, the like. And before 9th of April, 120 days too, then you will see a lot of movements.
Roughly a month from now.
So whether it's a party leader or whatever, forget about those things. Look at, and then the day is the flag bearer is going to be the presidential candidate of this coalition. Now, why President Uhuru being roped in as a patron and is being put in the structure? Because you can remember Alonso and his ilk and his company, they've been told that we'll engage on what? A structured dialogue. Maybe this is part of the that they insisted that for us to proceed, that we must have, because for a marriage to work, there must be an officiating minister.
An overseer of sorts.
An overseer, where when that marriage is to be annulled, they run to. And they must append his signature alongside the bride, the groom, and the best couple.
So Uhuru is playing a role of an umpire.
Yeah, precisely. And again, I agree with him to some extent, or not largely. Patrons are just for decoration.
Figureheads.
They're just figureheads. They're not engaged in the day-to-day running affairs of any organization, or any formation, or any government. So I can equate it to more of the British system, where you've got an elected prime minister who runs the government and does all those kind of stuff. Then the queen, who is always referred to as just for ceremonial and stuff. But Uhuru is going somewhere, but he will not go nowhere. Okay, I might be confusing with that.
Whatever it means.
The thing is, he's been brought in to gel this team. And I think what came to my mind, whether it's going to be Raila's government, is likely to form what we saw in Abraham Lincoln in 1861 to 1865, when he did what he called bringing those who had even opposed him into running government. There's a scholar a scholar, Doris Goodwin, who wrote a book, The Team of Rivals, that ended up bringing, Abraham Lincoln ended up bringing those who were opposing, the three of them. And one became the Attorney General, one became Secretary for the Treasury, one became State Secretary. And now that made a lot of gains. And with this, again, I might agree with Abur that if the philosophy is to bring peace, then why not? If it is to entrench continuity, because as I told you last time, that a good leader should think of his succession right from the when in the office, and would want to ensure that there's continuity of the manifesto of the projects that were initiated, not what we normally see in our current governments, whereby if your predecessor began building a football stadium, then you abandon all those football stadia. But there should be a continuity to that stuff. And I think that's what President Uhuru is keen at.
I need to support something.
I mean, we only have 2 minutes. Apparently, we only have 2 minutes to conclude the show. But then I want to bring you up to speed with something that we must be sure or be very cautious about. We know coalitions, since the NAC coalition to the present coalition. The element of mistrust, the element of betrayal, and the element of blatant disregard to what is supposed to be the general gentleman's agreement is rife in the political space of this country. And as a matter of fact, everybody must be cautious about it. Are you guys cautious about it in Azimio? In just less than a minute.
We are cautious about it, but we trust our partner. Because all this time you have seen Raila has been mentoring coalition from 2002 to date in this country. And Raila has not gone against any agreement with anybody.
Even Kalonzo, Kalonzo just gave us something here yesterday.
Listen.
That they jotted somewhere in a corner, nobody knew about it. And it's funny, it was an agreement within another agreement, within another agreement.
That agreement, I stand with Raila. The agreement was, all along, the agreement says that if I win, Raila has not won any election. He has not been the president.
So
listen.
And the matter of mistrust
When you say mistrust, now it means that if I told Raila has been sworn in as the president, then he has served. Then he says, I'm not supporting you. That's mistrust. But in this case, they have been strong together. Raila has not served as a president. He has never served.
In less than a minute.
Yes.
In less than a minute.
Yeah, you talked of mistrust, and I think to a large extent we've grown. If you looked at the NAC and the accord between Kibaki and Raila thereafter, there's been a bit of growth, progression in our democracy. And that's why you find 2010 Constitution gave us even more teeth, so that these agreements should be deposited with the Register of Political Parties before or after. And that's why we are not yet there, but there's a plus. Now, there is what we normally say, the spirit and the letter of the Constitution. So if it's written there, at the end of the day, it requires the spirit, which is more of gentleman's agreement or trust.
Gentlemen, we can't go further than this. Apparently, and sadly so, we've got to conclude this show. So interesting, so informative, and in fact, so analytical in its approach. I want you to tell me just one thing that captured your imagination over this week as we wind up. Okay. Just mention. We want to talk about it.
This week, I was so much disappointed with my deputy president. So much disappointed, to the extent I don't believe I can even call him the deputy president. Why? I'm so disappointed.
Why are you disappointed?
If somebody can take taxpayers' money to go to development, our partners, our development partners, to again talk ill of the country, and is the same deputy president, I found it not worth it at all.
So you are disappointed with that?
So much.
What actually captured your
What struck
imagination?
my attention this week was the bizarre treatment of this motorist lady along Wangari Maathai, former
Forest Road.
by border cyclists, which I think I condemn. I believe in female origin empowerment. That was wrong. That was retrogressive. And I pray that our borders will style up and be good people, not to bully people on the road. And that's it.
Thank you very much, viewer, wherever you are. Yes, they say politics is a game of only those people who have the crystal ball to face it. Sometimes they say politics is all local. Yes, Kenya is trending. Kenya is setting the trends and trailblazing in very many spheres about politics and in terms of coalition building. This, I always say, is a very unique case study for political science students in future, to see how coalitions fuse even from the opposition and even from the opposition and the government side. All these things are possible. All it takes is the willingness by the players to show 1, patriotism, 2, seriousness, 3, commitment to want to take a country forward. Otherwise, the rest of these things would be meaningless competition that would not help Kenyans. However, as we pen off or sign off here today, the hashtag bring down food prices still is so alive. I would wish to ring a bell to the leading contenders in these elections to know that their tray is full already with the to-do aspects of what Kenyans want. First of all, food on the table. Other than any other thing, we want to have food on the table. Not only food, but affordable food to all Kenyans. That is something Kenyans will keep reminding the leadership of this country to the ballot and even after the ballot and forever. Because food is a human right necessity. It's not an option. It is a provision that must be accorded to citizens. That is a principal participation or responsibility of a government. So our government now and the ones to come, take that to the bank and know that Kenyans are watching. We want our food prices to be affordable. We want to eat. We want to stay healthy and we want to be productive. Thank you very much, guys, for having come.
Thank you.
I know next time again when you ask you, sometimes the notices are so short, but you become gentlemen, the way you always become gentlemen to attend this function, this show, and make it a success as it is right now. So thank you very much. We still wish you all the best in your Nairobi race to become the senator, and Kanu and Azimio, our governance expert here. Thank you very much for the insights and the know-how that you give us each and every time that we call you around here. I've been your host, Nick Okello. Till next week, bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.